I have gone over what the best nation is for air, ground, naval, and even helis, but today I'll be going over the best nation overall in War Thunder, and this time we'll be analyzing total RP, silver lions, win rates, and much more. Today we're going to find out who's the king of all nations in War Thunder. Part 1, total RP and silver lions. I calculated the total RP and silver lions for everything in each nation and combined the totals. Now here's the chart for the total RP to complete everything in a nation. Like I said, this includes planes, tanks, boats, and even helis. As you can see, for unlocking everything, USA and USSR are insane, with over 30 million RP to complete the full nation for these ones. After that, we have Germany and Britain that have about 25 plus million RP to complete the full trees. The rest of the nations are all around the same, besides of course Israel, which looks the lowest just because it has no rank 3 or even a naval, which is another reason why China and Sweden are low as well, just because there's no naval count in this. Now let's look at silver lions. It's honestly insane when you see the true numbers needed. As you can see, not surprising, USSR and the USA are the top with an insane 90 plus million silver lions needed to get absolutely everything. No matter how you look at it, it's pretty crazy. Once again, Israel is at the bottom for the reasons I said before. However, it isn't too far from Sweden, which just shows you how top heavy Israel is with all their top tier vehicles. Before moving on to the grind time, let's just be real. Everyone just plays ground and air mainly. So here's the total RP and silver lions if you only include ground and air. USSR is number 1 and USA is number 2 with 20 plus million RP. Just really shows how much RP gets added when you include helis and naval, and just how low Japan actually is once you take out the naval. Now for silver lions, I don't have a chart, but here it is in text format. 65 and 64 million silver lions to unlock all the vehicles in ground and air for USSR and the USA. And once again, Japan dropping hard and almost matching Israel without naval. So you can see where this is going to be going for grind time. Now part 2 is the grind time. Let's say you average 4k RP per game, and the average time you're in there is 10 minutes. Well, let's calculate how much time you're really going to need to put in to complete a nation's air and ground tree. Sorry to naval, but I feel like poop leaving it out, but it just feels unfair to have it as some nations don't even have a naval. Now, doing the math, here's the total grind time in hours. Once again, averaging 4k RP per 10-minute match, which in my opinion is pretty generous. In air, you can sometimes get a bit more, and in ground, a lot less. So this is just a good middle ground for the two, because some people might not be using premium tanks or vehicles, so it might be too high or too low in anyone's eyes. As you can see, the lowest nation, excluding Israel, because you need a rank 4 vehicle, is Japan, with only 551 hours to complete all ground and air. Then you have the USA and the USSR with over 900 hours. I would say Britain is when you get to that breaking point of saying if it's a grind even worth it, at 780 hours. As you can see in this chart, here's the amount of hours you'd have to dedicate every single day to get everything unlocked for ground and air. USA and the USSR is at 2.4 hours a day every single day for a whole year to unlock everything. Israel and Japan is 1.5 and 1.4 a day. Remember, this is dedicating yourself to one nation completely. You can't switch or make any changes in between. Just 1.5 hour to 2.5 hours a day, and you'll get there in a year. Now we'll put all that info in our back pocket and move on to part 3, which is now win rates. Now let's talk about these win rates. I got all this data from StatShark. I just compiled the June 2025 win rates for nations in all modes across all the BRs. And then I just made these graphs with the averages. Starting off, the win rates for all the game modes combined, including naval, is here. As you can see, this is where something strange happens. France, Britain, and Japan are topping the charts by a pretty large margin compared to the big 3. Now why is this? Sample size. Let's take away naval and helicopters again and just focus on ground and air, and also include the sample sizes. As you can see, the win rates for air and ground combined sort of show the same thing. However, this time you can see the sample sizes are insane for the big 3, averaging 750k matches across the BRs compared to the next played, which is Sweden, with only 224. This shows that a majority of the players, good, bad, and new, are going to pick the big three and sort of destroy their win rates. It's somewhat impossible to truly see what the win rates would be, excluding the new players and stuff like that. So it's just something to factor into all these win rates. Here are a couple more graphs illustrating this with the sample sizes and win rates just to visualize it some more. As you can see here, France is the best overall when combining both ground and air, and Germany is the worst. France is the best for ground and Japan is the best in air. Sadly, the USA has the lowest win rate in air somehow, and Germany has the lowest in ground. Now with all of this information throughout this whole video, we can now determine what's the best nation overall in all of War Thunder. Well, let's just use one more graph to visualize it. Here is the ultimate worth it chart for grinding nations. This includes the grind time, total RP to get all planes and vehicles, the win rates, and basically everything. Now do you see what I see at the top right there? Japan is the nation with practically the highest win rate and almost the fastest grind as well. The king of the top right on this chart. Absolutely insane. In my opinion, this is why Japan takes the crown for the most worth it nation. Insane win rates and even more insane grind speed. You can't beat the facts and stats here, boys. After that, France is looking pretty good with the highest win rate and a pretty average grind speed. So just for that win rate itself right now, that's a close second. Overall, it's rough to see the big three so low. However, that's just because new players absolutely destroy their win rates, so you can't do much about it. Looking a bit more at this graph, you can also really think of choosing China. It's got a pretty solid win rate and the grind speed's a bit faster than France. But once again, you're sacrificing about 2% of that win rate there. So it's really up to you. Now wait a quick second, we're not done yet. Now it's time to include Naval and Helis again in the charts and graphs that we missed out on. Now for grind time. If you're trying to do all of the game modes in a nation, here it is. USSR and the USA jump up over 1,300 hours if you want to get all the naval boats, helis, tanks, and planes. You can also see that Japan now jumps up quite a bit because of naval, with now 849 hours. Overall, you're also now going to be grinding 1.7 hours a day, all the way to 3.7 hours, depending on who you pick. Pretty wild stuff here. Now, onto the ultimate worth it graph. This time, including the win rates for all of the nations and the total grind times and RP. As you can see, Naval knocked Japan down quite a bit. At this point, it almost seems that China once again is the ultimate choice for a good all-around experience. 50.92% win rate in all the modes and only 824 hours. But if you really look closely, Japan is only 25 more hours for a whole 2% more. So if that 24 hours is worth it, there you go. You can judge that yourself. Another underrated choice I didn't mention is Sweden. Not the best win rate, but we're talking small percentages anyway. Only really 3% lower than France, and the grind is only 696 hours. Overall, here's the ultimate worth it chart for all game modes in all of the nations. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and all these stats and you learned a few things, and I think this video in itself settles the question: which nation should you grind next? Hope you guys enjoyed. Now peace out.